not just this session, but if you go into anthropology or statistics or chemistry, those sessions will make you eligible for the discount. And when you attend that session, you will be automatically marked. And then when you apply to UCR, you'll see that discount automatically applied. So just a couple little items for you, but I can definitely answer more questions. And when you, at the end of the week, you will receive a post-event survey. So we're hoping that all of you will fill out the survey and let us know your experience in our graduate open house. We really appreciate your feedback. Okay. All right. So with that being said, I want to introduce a couple amazing speakers. We have two of our deans in graduate division here with us today. We have Associate Dean Emma Wilson, also faculty in Biomed, and we also have our Vice Provost and Dean of Graduate Studies, Lidia Kos. And they're going to talk to you today about our amazing graduate programs.
Thank you, Laura. It's great to see everybody. Thank you very much for joining us from all over the world, I believe, and hopefully locally as well. If you're nearby, always come to campus and check us out. And I hope you have a fantastic couple of days at the open house and get a chance to speak to faculty. There's some stuff going on in the chat, so feel free to look at those links. My name's Emma Wilson. I'm an Associate Dean in the Graduate Division, and I'm also a Professor of Biomedical Sciences and have run my lab for the past 16 years on a parasite that lives in your brain and immune responses that go on there. So I can talk for hours about that, but I shouldn't talk about that. But you guys are going to have huge, diverse, really fascinating interests. And I'm delighted that you're really interested in taking those further and doing a graduate degree. So I'm delighted to introduce Dean Lidia Kos, who is our wonderful graduate dean. She is also a scientist and interested in melanoma, and she can talk much more about that as well. But we're here to give you advice and tricks and answer your questions, and I hope you have a great time. Lydia.
Thank you, Emma. Good morning. I don't know if there's anybody in morning. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, buenos dias, bonjour, whatever it is. I am the Vice Provost and Dean of Graduate Studies at UCR. What that means is I oversee all graduate programs, kind of the professional programs too. I think FPP is under us. So all of the graduate programs, and our sort of main role here is to ensure that all of our graduate students are well served, properly trained, and will have the best time possible while they are in grad school here at UCR. Unfortunately, there's too much light coming from my window, but you can see a little bit out of Emma's window, just so that I could show you the beauty for those of you who are not around here. I saw somebody from Argentina. Mohammed, where are you right now?
There's a Brazilian here somewhere.
Well, Mohammed, where are you, Mom?
I am from Padova, Italy.
Oh, there you go. Un italiano. There is a Brazilian there too. Tem uma brasileira, brasileiro. Quem é?
Oi, brasileira.
Brasileira, tudo bem? Quem é a brasileira? Deixa eu ver.
Júlia.
Júlia, oi, Júlia. Anyway, so welcome everybody. As you can see, not only here, but throughout, all of our graduate programs, there's students from everywhere. It's an amazing, I've been here for a year now. And it's really an amazing institution. We are very, very focused on being an inclusive sort of environment. We like taking care of everybody. So I do encourage you all to think deeply while you are considering where to go for grad school, given that you've already made the decision. That's the first important decision. Do I want to go to grad school or not? And it appears that most of you have already probably made that decision, which is important. Somebody, Emma is saying there that I'm from Brazil. And now, I'm sure you're going to be applying to different places. And I just want to say, it is super important that you get to have a good feeling for the institution, for the graduate program, for the department, and the faculty in the different programs. You need to understand whether your research interests, your interests in general are aligned with the interests of the faculty in the department, whether the environment is going to be the right environment for you. It's hard to have that kind of deep understanding from the beginning, but you can reach out to us. You can reach out. You're going to have the opportunity to meet faculty, graduate program advisors. So those are faculty members who oversee each graduate program. There's over 40 of them represented in the various sessions. I know this morning, some of you might have already attended some of the sessions with sort of the biological sciences. I saw chemistry and statistics and math. Do participate in the academic sessions. If not for anything, you get a $40 discount in the application fee, which is a good thing. But very important to get in touch with the faculty and see if your interests align with the programs that we have. We're also going to have graduate student panels. That's another opportunity for you to talk to students. And I would strongly recommend for you not to be shy and do reach out to graduate students in the programs. And a lot of our graduate programs have a list of the graduate students on their websites. Or if you are like lab-based, like Emma or myself, I haven't said what I do yet. And I'm trying not to do that, because if I start talking about, as Emma said, I work on melanoma, but if I start talking, then it's going to be 3 hours of science here, which is not important. But anyway, so I do encourage you to learn as much as possible, and so you can make the right decision. Take advantage of these sessions, reach out to all of us. And like Emma, so now, like Emma, I'm in the same department, biomedical sciences. I've been a biology professor. My training, Julia, I don't know where you're from. I got my degree from Universidade Federal do Rio de Janeiro. So that is the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. I then came to the US, like a lot of you, for grad school. And I came to the UC system, where I got my PhD in neuroscience. And from there, I ended up working at the National Institutes of Health, which is in the Washington, D.C. area. And I was there for a while, went from neuroscience to working on pigment cells, which are cousins to the neurons in your nervous system. There's these cells that produce pigment that give the color to your skin and to your hair and to not your eyes, but part of it. So ended up working from pigment cells, ended up working on melanoma. I've had the lab for the last 25 years, over 70 students, 30 PhD students. So I understand, and that's what I was telling you, the sort of this relationship between you and who your research mentor is going to be is absolutely critical. And it's important that you start thinking about this as you are applying to different graduate programs. Anything else? So there's going to be, apart from the academic sessions, where you're going to have the opportunity to talk to the people in the departments, programs that you're interested in, there's a lot of other sessions with the resources that we have available here at UCR. And for example, our grad division, so we here, Em and I and Laura and Nick and Carla, we have a whole division called Graduate Success. And you're not going to find that in a lot of other grad divisions across the US, where the entire sort of goal of that unit in the grad division is to provide the students with programming that will enhance your professional development, your preparation for careers, either academic or non-academic careers. So we have, programs if you want to go into industry, if you want to be a professor in a mostly teaching school. So we have all kinds of opportunities. We have a program, actually is the only one that I'm aware of, just to do a little bit of marketing here, called Grad Quant. And actually, I'm so proud of that, where we provide support for any quantitative related things that you might need, statistical support. If you want to learn coding, if you want to learn R, if you want to learn, I don't know, Bayesian analysis, we have a workshop for you. We also have an excellent writing center within the grad division. And, there is the writing center that works with undergrads, but here we have a writing center to support you as a graduate student, which is actually quite important now. And we do a lot of good social events. My favorite, every Wednesday from 3 to 5, there is a graduate student social. And we bring in, there's massage for free. There's a lot of food for free. There's dogs that you can come and pet. And these grad student socials, I'm very sociable. Yes, I'm very sociable. As you can see, I'm very sociable. And my door is always open. You're not going to hear that from a lot of deans. Emma's door is always also open. And we love talking to students and helping students have a good time while they are here in their graduate programs. So Laura, anything else? I can keep talking, but if you guys have questions.
No, we've got some amazing questions in the chat, and I'll just get a couple of them. Remember, everybody, that to get the discount fee waiver, we want you to go to an academic session. That means whatever field you're interested in, anthropology to statistics and everything in between. So go to one of those sessions where you can talk to faculty, grad students, and staff, and that's going to make you eligible for the discount fee waiver. So please make sure you understand that, and go ahead and put another question in the chat if you need more information. And thank you. How do we access a particular academic session? You need to go back to your registration portal. So you have an email that gives you a link to your registration portal, your schedule for the day, and you can update that and go ahead and add another session. You can add sessions all week long.
Okay, and Laura, you want me to, what do you want me to talk about? Or do you want people to just ask questions?
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great, Lydia. We're in the chat and we're trying to answer questions, but I think Mohammed has his hand up. Mohammed, go ahead.
Okay, Mohammed, go ahead.
Yeah, I am Mohammed Samu, an applied entomologist, recently graduated from University of Padua, Italy. I am a startup innovator that has strong interest in innovation. Does your university make provision for students like me coming from Sierra Leone and thinking of having my project partly done in Sierra Leone and done in your university?
Does somebody, Emma, do you want to answer? So first, let me tell you, so right above me, you see the ceiling there, but right above me sits the Vice Chancellor for Research. Within the Office of Research, which is upstairs from the grad division, there is a group that oversees all of the entrepreneurship initiatives of the university. It's a very strong group. They offer a series of opportunities, workshops, courses. There is a program funded by the National Science Foundation they bring together faculty and graduate students, postdocs, to initiate sort of development of technologies or development of that might end up leading to patents. So there is a lot of activity, Mohammed, in that sense. they are very supportive of graduate students in preparing graduate students to embark in whatever it is in terms of innovation and entrepreneurship. And I know a lot of grad students who have participated. Now, you talked about carrying out research internationally, perhaps, and that would be once you are in the program and you are working with a particular, so I think, so entomology is probably one of our most, I don't want to discard the other programs.
It's a very strong program.
It's a super strong program, entomology, and they have collaborations with faculty and countries everywhere. So this would be a matter of talking to the folks there. I think there would be opportunities for developing collaborations and projects. I can tell you, I didn't see where Julia, the Brazilian one, is from. There's a new faculty member in entomology that's actually from Brazil and works on mosquito-borne diseases. And he's establishing collaborations with, there's a couple of very strong institutes in Brazil. I shouldn't talk about Brazil, but anyway, so Mohammed, yes, there will be opportunities.
Yes, there's lots of fantastic faculty in entomology. I can give you some names if you like, but go to their website. Rick Reddick is the chair. He'll be very welcoming, I'm sure. But they have a lot of international activity and research.
And Emma and Lydia, there was a great question from Adriana, and I wanted to see if you could answer it. She said, what is UCR looking for in a grad student? How do I make my application stand out? And I thought that would be a great question for everybody.
Yeah, Emma, you want to start? And I see Kate there. I mean, Dr. Kate Sweeney is also an associate dean in the grad division. She's a professor in psychology. So I think I would let both Emma and Kate address this question.
Yeah, we have someone interested in psychology on the chat. So Kate, definitely. What are we looking for? So we're not just looking for numbers, right? So a lot of universities, a lot of programs are still basing applications on things like GPA and GRE. Nearly all our programs now have a holistic view of admissions. We really want to know that you know what you're getting yourself in for, right? That you've had some research experience, that you can convey the interest that you have, right? Especially for people that are coming internationally. We don't want you to come to a program and realize, oh, this is not for me. Really try and convey in your personal statement, in your research interests, why this is so important to you. What experience have you had that has really pushed you to do a further degree in what you want to do? And I think that type of information will be very helpful. It's not that we discount numbers altogether, but that experience and that knowledge of what you're getting yourself in for, which, you know, if you've done research before, you'll know that some days are good and some days are not so good. And you're going to come here and you're going to do 4+ years of that, and you need to have the drive and the interest to keep you going through those not so good days. Does that make sense? So try and convey that as much as you possibly can. Kate, professor in psychology.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, I was a bit late. Yes, I know. No, I don't read minds. Nice to see you all. Yeah, so sorry I was late. Speaking of psychology research, we have some technology across the hall that's not working, so I might have to pop in and out a bit. But yeah, I agree with everything Emma said. It's not really that different across fields, just, you know, in all fields conveying the kind of experience that's relevant to the work you would do. So that would be research experience in a field like mine or Emma's. It might be authorship experiences for, you know, more writing-based fields or creative-based fields. That would be other kinds of creative endeavors that you might have accomplished or engaged with. And then it's, yeah, really about just kind of selling your experience, your interests, your preparedness, and your story. And I think that's really consistent across programs.
I see a million questions. I don't even know.
I can't decide which ones to answer at the same time.
I know. I see a bunch of hands too. Idris, go ahead, Idris. Idris Ibrahim. Sorry
Yeah,
if
all right.
I'm mispronouncing.
No, that's the right pronunciation, yeah. You pronounce it very well.
What is,
So my question, you pronounced it very well. That's the right pronunciation, yeah. So my question is this: for someone who has masters in computer science and trying to go for PhD computer science with over 10 years experience, what are the requirements in terms of GRE for such a person?
so Idris, the best people to respond to this question would be the computer science graduate advisor, the computer science coordinator. If you, Laura, does computer science have a session?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, they do. We
Yeah,
have
so
one for computer science engineering. I think all of our programs are represented there.
yeah, so
All right.
Idris, the best thing would be for you to talk directly to them, because each program is going to have their own sort of requirements. They're the overall sort of characteristics of what a successful applicant look like that Emma and Kate talked about. But I think if you have specific questions for the computer science department, I think it would be best for you to attend the session or reach out to them. You can always email. It's Vanda Yamaguchi or Merrick. You can email them. You should find their names on the website.
All right.
If you go to the Grad Division website, and if you click on, I think it's under current students, there is a tab that says need help. And then there is a list of all the graduate programs, and you can click on computer science and their names and emails. So the names and emails of the faculty graduate program advisor and the staff graduate program coordinator is going to be listed there.
All right. Thank you very much. I'll do just that.
And I just put that link in the chat. Thank you, Lydia. I just put that link in the chat. It says need help, and then there's a link, and that should give you the names of all the graduate programs and the staff and faculty who you can contact. So great question. Thank you so much.
All right. You're welcome.
There's another great question in the chat about how can I find my potential supervisor, and should you contact them beforehand? And so for all of you, you need to apply to the program, but there's no harm. In fact, you really should be looking at that program, but at the faculty that are in that program. And what type of research do they do? And you can contact faculty. You're not always going to get a response because there's a lot of emailing going on at this time. But when you do contact faculty, make sure that that's a specific and very professional email. Why are you interested in their research? Demonstrate that you've read some of their research. Don't just say, I'm interested in your research, right? Make sure it's not an email that could be copied and pasted to 100 different faculty. Make sure that this is a specific email, and that will get you a long way. And then even if you don't get a response from faculty, you can mention in your application that these are the types of faculty that you're interested in. And so, and again, convey why this type of research is something I'm interested in because. And so the more specifics that you can put in, the more chances are that the program will see, oh, this is somebody that could really fit with this faculty or that faculty or lots of different faculty, right? So also don't be married to one particular thing, right? You may think, I only want to do cancer. I want to see, I want to find the cure for cancer. And there's a lot of reasons why you want to do that, but you may come in and you'll do your classes and you'll maybe be in a program that does a lot of different rotations so you can work out what you like and what you don't like. So as well as being specific about what you think you like, also be open to exploring other areas of science. So I hope that helps that question, which I read wrote a lot about in the chat, and now I'm not going to bother because I just said.
I'm looking at some hands here. Let's see. Amandeep Kaur.
Hi, this is Amandeep here. I recently graduated from UC Merced and currently I'm teaching at CSU Bakersfield. Can you guys all hear me fine?
Yeah, no, we can hear you. Yeah.
So I have two questions actually. My first question is because tomorrow I know my program, like I'm applying for a math program. So they have an academic session going from 3 to 4 p.m. and I won't be able to fully attend it because my students have exam tomorrow and I don't want to,
Sure.
have their exam extended to next week. So I won't be able to attend fully the session. So is there another way I can get the discount for the registration? That's my first question. And the second question I have is, what kind of funding programs do you have for the graduate students for the doctoral degree? I know that at UC Merced, they have for the graduate students, they have either teaching TA opportunity or they have like research funding. So what program funding options do you guys have?
Okay, I'll let Laura, do you want, or Nick?
I can answer the first part.
Okay, all right.
And I know there have been a few questions about the fee waiver, so I'll try to address those. So the fee waiver discount is $40 and it will apply to a UCR graduate program as long as you attend an academic program session. It doesn't have to necessarily be the specific one for your program. So if you had another session you are also interested in attending, that would also count to give you that fee waiver. If you're able to join for just a little bit of it too, you might be able to talk to the host of that session and see if they are recording it and if they could email you the recording afterwards. But as long as you log in to an academic program session through your portal, the discount will be automatic.
Yeah, I'll try to do it once I finish the exam, I'm gonna just log in and see how things go.
Absolutely.
So I think I'll start addressing the second part of your question, Amanda, because I think that applies to all interested applicants. So right now, I can't give you absolute specifics with what is going to happen. Maybe I can actually, but for fall 25, so I can tell you for first year students, there will most likely, students will receive 1 to 2 quarters. So we are on a quarter system. So different than Merced, for example, that's on a semester system. We're on a quarter system. So for the first year, and this is fall 25 that I'm talking about, you're probably going to receive as part of your offer 1 or 2 quarters of fellowship. So that's full fellowship. You do not have to teach or be working as a graduate student research assistant. So you're on fellowship, you can take your course, 1 or 2 quarters. The rest of the academic year, you're either going to receive a teaching assistantship or a graduate research assistantship. And that's going to depend on who you're going to be working with. So if the faculty member if you already have somebody that's going to be your major professor, that's going to be working with you for your research, they might want to hire you as a graduate research assistant. The majority, not all, the majority of the programs are ensuring that you have funding for at least 4 years. Not all programs, but a lot of the programs sort of ensure that there's 4 years of funding. We also have available through the graduate division some fellowships. So those are internal fellowships that Emma can talk a little bit more about because she oversees that part. And those are mostly towards after you take your classes and you pass, and depending on the program you're in, your prelims and your qualifying examination. So after you become an actual doctoral candidate, and I'm talking PhDs here, I'm not talking master's students. We can talk masters later, but then we have some internal fellowships. I'll let Emma talk about that.
Just one more quick question. So sure. You mentioned that just to clarify, so all the graduate students who are in the doctoral program will receive funding for the first 2 quarters, right?
For fall 25,
Okay.
fall 25, because things are evolving right now.
Okay.
For
Okay.
fall 25, most likely, not 100%,
Okay.
1 to 2 quarters of fellowship.
Okay. Thank you
And
so
Emma
much.
can talk a little bit more about the fellowships that we have available.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Most of you will be applying to programs that have 4 or 5 year packages. And so whether that's going to be composed of a mixture of fellowship and teaching experience and GSR, so research in a lab or paid for by your faculty. So at no point do we really want you to have no funding at all. I think that's the overall aim of the game there, right? We want you to be able to pay your rent. We also have internal fellowships that are mostly available to students that have passed their qualifying exam. So they've moved on to become a candidate for their PhD. And that normally happens after your 2nd year. So sometime in your 3rd year. We have 3 main fellowships. One is a UC-wide pre-professoriate HSI award, which focuses on awarding students that receive their undergrad at a California Hispanic serving institution. And that would award you for a whole year, plus a $10,000 grant for professional development. So it could take you to conferences, it could take you to specific workshops and travel and so forth like that. So it's a very, very cool grant fellowship. We also have another one similar. It will award you for a full year and give you some travel money as well. So that's a dissertation year fellowship. And then new ones that we have introduced last year are ones to help you graduate. So when you come to write your thesis, there's a lot of distractions. When I was writing my thesis, I would prefer to clean out the plug hole than actually sit down and write. A lot of procrastination. We want you to focus 100% on being able to write up your thesis. So we have dissertation completion awards that will give you fellowship for 1 or 2 quarters to relieve you of teaching or research obligations so that you can sit, focus, write, graduate, and leave us, because that's the ultimate goal, right?
Thank you, Emma. I wanted a couple great questions. There's a question about writing the narratives, a statement of purpose and personal history and letters of recommendation. I was wondering if Kate's here, Kate, Emma, and Lydia, if you could give some general advice to students who are struggling with those writing assignments and those letters.
Who wants to talk about that?
I'm happy. Yeah, I've written some stuff in the chat. I tried to say, be specific. I would probably put your research experience up front. Try and explain what have you done, so that firstly we know what you're interested in, what skills you will have had or learned already, what that also drives you. It may dictate where you might want to go and which faculty you might want to work with. Then be specific about the faculty. Demonstrate that this is not a statement that you want to copy and paste to every university, right? You want to demonstrate that you've really I've read about this program, I've read about the department, these are the people I'm really interested in. And that makes it, because this is sort of matching process. We want to make sure that the people we bring in are wanting to come to UCR and that are going to fit well with our faculty. So do pay attention to who's in your program, what type of research do you want to do. Address things like if your GPA took a dive bomb for a particular reason, don't ignore it. Make sure you address it in your statement. What else? Any personal circumstances? Give us a sense of who you are, right? What do you like to do as well, right? This is somebody that, we're going to bring in for a while. We know we want to see what you've been through. You're not you know, we want to have a sense of you a little bit, that you'll fit in with all of us and are excited, right? You're excited about being able to do research. And that's, again, that's going to take you a long way, right? This is important. And it's a real balance. I'll stop whittering. Maybe Kate, you can add your sense.
I have a question.
Yes, Kirti Fardhan.
You can call me Kirti.
Kirti, thank you, Kirti.
Yeah, so actually, I'm currently pursuing my engineering in biotechnology, and I'm interested in, biomedical sciences. Particularly, I want to, work on Alzheimer's. So, like, how do I go about my application? Like, while applying, I could not find biomedical. It was only bioengineering, but now I just got to know that there is biomedical sciences as well.
Yes,
So
so now that you've worked that out, I would go to the Biomedical Sciences faculty website, and that's a fairly straightforward search.
okay.
And you'll
Alright.
find lots of different faculty there. There is a division of biomedical sciences, but there is also the wider biomedical sciences graduate program. So the biomedical sciences program is an umbrella program that has faculty from many areas of campus, but for you in particular, it has faculty in psychology and in neuroscience and molecular biology. And there are several people that you might find of interest there.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I wanted to go back. I don't know, Kate, if you to the initial question that Laura had asked regarding not only the statement of purpose or the recommendation letters, and those are quite important. I saw somebody putting a comment there saying that they'd been out of academia for a while and they'd been working, and most of the programs will require at least, and I think we do too as the grad division, two letters from academics. I would ask letters from the people who know you best, right? I mean, we're not talking your family, your friends, but people who can not only had somebody who's been your professor or somebody, but the people who can say this is if it's not going to be a professor who you took a class with or a professor you worked with doing research, but somebody who can sort of testify that this is a dedicated, serious, committed person. So anybody who can talk about professionally. And if it turns out that you absolutely don't have academic relationships that have lasted for a long time, I think you can talk to the graduate program advisor and to us in the grad division. And Kate, I would be willing, I'm talking to Kate, but I would definitely be willing to make an exception because I think it's more important that somebody can talk about your character and how you're going to be as somebody pursuing a PhD program than some professor you took a class 20 years ago who cannot remember your name, right?
I have one question.
Yeah, go ahead, the motion.
Could you please let me know if I can apply to 2 programs simultaneously?
Yes.
Yes,
yeah, I'm going to apply to genomics and genetics, genomics, and bioinformatics program, as well as biotechnology program at the Center for Industrial Biotechnology. And, I want to know if I can apply to both of the programs simultaneously.
Yes, you can, Mohsin. In fact, unless the faculty overlap, they may not actually know that you've applied for simultaneous programs. But you make sure that your statements are specific, right? That you're describing why you want to be in this program, but yes, there is nothing preventing you applying to more than one program.
Thank you.
Yeah, hello, I think I have a question.
Go ahead, Daniel.
Yeah, so I'm Daniel, and currently I'm a cow, and I'm actually looking for a PhD program at UCR. And I've reached out to a professor, but haven't heard from the professor yet. And I actually want to know, like, can I still go ahead with the application process since I've not heard from the professor? Like, I don't know if I should go to Car or if I should go to Riverside to check if the professor can have a meeting with me or not. Yeah, basically.
Daniel, you should apply to the program, and I'm sorry the professor hasn't written back. I'm thinking I probably owe a couple of students. I try and keep up, but we do get a lot of emails. So it could be that yours has got lost in all the blue dots.
Yeah.
But you do need to apply to a program rather than a single individual professor. So apply to the program, mention your specific interest in not just one professor, but you should maybe look around for other people that you might be interested in, the type of research.
Gotcha.
But you don't have to have made that personal connection yet.
Yeah, and
Okay.
Daniel, do not be discouraged. You know, as Emma said, we get a lot of emails asking about, you know, can I be in your lab? It's in between Emma and I, and sometimes I am the same situation that, you know, probably I have emails from a month ago that I haven't been able to catch up with. So
Yeah.
maybe the person is not going to ever reply, or maybe it's just because there's so many emails. So that you shouldn't be discouraged by that. There's nothing wrong in being persistent and just reminding the person, you know, some people might get a little bit upset, but I would say if you know, if you feel this is, you know, this is your dream person you want, send it again and say, just a quick reminder. I'd really appreciate getting some response of whether you are going to be taking somebody next year into your research group. But I would still apply. And as Emma said, you know, reach out to other people, because you never know, right?
Yeah.
You might end up finding somebody that is interested in you because of what you can bring, and it changes your whole career. I told you, I started as a neuroscientist, so I worked as an undergrad 4 years in a neuroscience lab. My PhD is in neuroscience, and I work on melanoma now. So you never know, things change.
Yeah. Again, so if I was also thinking about this, like, sorry I joined late. I actually was having a dinner, and I wasn't able to catch up with you guys at the beginning, but can you touch on, like, housing at Riverside? Yeah, basically. Oh, yeah, housing, the condition, because living here in Berkeley, it looks like difficult, like getting an accommodation here, but can you speak more about housing, like, for graduate students?
Emma, so Emma's been here longer than I have, but there will be a session. Laura, isn't that right? Or Nick, isn't that right? There is a session from housing where they're going to be talking about, Nick, do you want to?
Yeah, that's correct. We do have a session coming up from our graduate housing office. I will post a link to that on our website so you can see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Generally, Daniel and everybody, around me just here, there's a huge amount of housing that's was built. So last year finished and opened up, and now we've got a brand new one coming online, should be ready for next year. It is cheaper than Berkeley, right? We have a massive increase in rent, as many parts of the country did over COVID. But yes, Laura's put in the sessions about housing. So the chances of you getting university accommodation in your first year as a graduate student are pretty high. I have been promised that. But then also off-campus housing is kind of, you're adults, right? So I totally understand once you first come to campus, having UCR housing would probably be helpful and beneficial. You can find your way around, get to know the city, but then you probably want to do off-campus housing maybe later on. And there's a small amount of family accommodation as well. So there's definitely possibilities, and it is a lot cheaper than Berkeley and most of the other UCs actually.
Yeah, and much easier to find housing closer to campus here than it is in, if you want affordable housing, a lot easier here than it would be in Berkeley or in Santa Cruz or in all the other UCs, pretty much outside housing, right? So I just know for a fact, I'm connected to the Brazilian graduate student community, and they all find housing, they share houses, and they've been able to, and this is what I've known for the last year, right? So it's not, I think, as big of a problem as it is for the other UCs.
Okay, my last question is, as an international student, what are the chances of getting into UCR, like the competition with the resident people? Because here in Berkeley, it looks like international students have slim chance getting here into UCB. And so what are the chances as an international student getting a PhD at UCR?
But Daniel, that probably depends on the program. It'll be based on the program. Be confident, you'll stand out. Be good, have a go.
Yeah, I don't think we can answer that question, right? I mean, each program, I don't think the programs are making decisions based on whether you're a domestic student or an international student. It's based on your qualifications and your matching, right? And then that's the thing. And if you might not get admitted into a program at Berkeley or whatever, or here, and there's not because there's something wrong, it's just that there's always a limited number of students that we can admit, and the matching with research interests, right? And and what you can bring to the program as a whole. That's what the important thing is. And there is just no difference between whether you're international or not international. Is the fit with the program. I just happened to look at the question there, Yusuf, asking if we accept IELTS. Not yet. I'm trying to get that going. It is possible. Well, not for 25. Is Elisa? I think Anant is there, right? But somebody from admissions. If you go to the admission session, but not yet. We
do accept IELTS and TOEFL. Oh, I think you were thinking Duolingo.
Yeah, no, right, okay. So IELTS, yes. Okay.
Yes, IELTS, yes. And TOEFL.
Okay. Thank you, Annette. Yeah, I saw it.
Francis, do you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, all right. But before I begin, I must say you guys are doing a great job. I'm really, really amazed, And Lydia is an amazing person. I would love to meet her.
She is an amazing person.
You are really an amazing person.
We'll do a Zoom session, Francis. Just send me an email.
I love that. All right, but anyway, I have 3 questions. I am a medical laboratory technician and then a physician assistant. Currently, I'm practicing physician assistant. And I'm interested in the cell molecular developmental biology graduate program. I want to ask if I will need a third-party credential evaluators to evaluate my transcript, or it is done in-house.
Annette can answer the question because Annette Menezes, who is here with us, she is from admissions.
Okay, all right.
Annette.
Sorry, can you repeat your question?
Yeah, so I wanted to know if I have to hire a third party credential evaluators, or everything is done in-house.
We at this time, right, you would upload copies of all your academic records. We first the program, and then when it comes to graduate division, we are reviewing your records. We don't accept credential evaluations at this time for initial application review. You would submit your transcripts, your proof of degree, all of those, upload all of those documents, and we will evaluate it.
In-house, Francis, in-house.
Okay, that's great. Then my second question is about English proficiency test. Ghana, our mode of teaching, mean both secondary and post-secondary, it's all about English language. And we write WASI, which also there's a subject called an English language that you need to pass. Now, I want to know, for my case, do I need to write an English proficiency test like the IELTS?
I can help answer too. So if English is listed as the sole language of instruction, and we use this site, WED, and I can put it in the chat. If it is listed there, we can accept that your degree, a bachelor's degree or advanced degree is completed, and you meet English language requirement. If not, then it is required that you show proof of English language proficiency through the passing TOEFL or IELTS.
Okay. Am I able to see the link on the website?
Yes, if you go to this site, the WED site, and look up your country, look up your institution. If it's more than one language listed there, then we don't consider that, instruction is only in English.
Okay.
It is, she posted, Francis, Annette posted it on the chat. It's
okay, I'll check that.
www.wet.net, WHED.net. Yeah. I think for some institutions in Ghana, we take it as being English, but I don't know. You have to check on the website.
I'll check on that.
And I want to remind everybody that a lot of the questions about transcripts and IELTS will also be answered at our application tips and tricks from 2 to 3 today and also tomorrow. So if you don't get your question answered, please make sure you come into our session from 2 to 3. It's called application tips and tricks, and we'll also have another one tomorrow. So great questions.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Please, I have a question. Please, I am from Nigeria and I have a master's degree in clinical psychology. Been practicing for 4 years. However, I want to know, do I need to contact faculty members before I start application? That's one. Secondly, like I said before a link was provided here that leads to breakout sessions for those clinical and all of that. But like I said to Laura, that link is not opening. How we won't be able to attend such a session to be able to achieve the application fee waiver? My concern mostly is about the faculty member. Do I need to? These two concerns are my most important concerns. Please provide guidance.
Regarding the link, Laura, I don't know which link is working or not working.
Could you put your question, could you put the link in the chat? I'm sorry. Could you try and put the link in the chat so we can fix it?
I don't know who was talking, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think I was on the line and he came in. But my last question, okay? My last question. Mostly, I don't know what's happening today or nowadays, but it's difficult getting visa, to travel for studies. And I want to find out, in case, which I don't wish for, you don't get your visa to come to study, then can you like, I mean, postpone it to the following year?
Yeah. So Francis, if you apply and you're admitted, and for whatever reason you're not able to get the visa on time, you can ask for deferral. So you can
Okay.
ask for
All right.
deferral until you can come in. If it is a visa issue and there's particular reasons that you can ask for deferral, mostly related to visa issues and to medical issues. And your program will contact the grad division, and I'll go through the request. And if it is a visa issue, we'll defer it to the following year. And true also if there is a medical situation. I think I don't know what the name is. Mueller. Your last name is Mueller. Oh.
Yeah, can I interrupt and tell you that everybody, we're the session ends around 2:00. So, and I'm jumping to the next one, which is the application tips and tricks. And Lydia and Emma, you're welcome to stay on as long as possible. But I'm going to be jumping with Annette and Michelle to the application tips and tricks. So goodbye, everybody, and thank you. And Lydia, you're welcome to stay as long as you can.
Okay, I'll stay for a few minutes. I know Emma needs to leave to her lab meeting. So
hello.
Everybody who wants,
hi.
Mr. Mueller, you can ask your question because I know you've been waiting there.
Yeah, it's totally okay. I mean, there's a lot of application related questions. I think maybe they would be better in the next meeting. So I wanted to ask you more about how Riverside has changed through the pandemic. And since you've been dean for a while, I wanted to kind of get a feeling for I guess, elevator pitch for UC Riverside.
Oh, no, so I've been only here for a year. So I came after the pandemic. So I was at another institution back in Florida. I was in Florida for 25 years and I moved here a year ago. So I can't make comparisons between before and after the pandemic. What I can tell you, I think it's what I said in the beginning. So I think, UCR, compared to the institution I was before, it does feel very welcoming. I think overall the level of collegiality amongst faculty, amongst and the grad students also. I'll be honest with you, I've never been to an event. Here we have these graduate student socials every Wednesday. And I don't know if you were here before, but every Wednesday we have these graduates. And we have 80 to 120. Last week was 120 grad students who showed up. Where do you get that? So I think my pitch is, it's super friendly, very, very focused on being, what I said before, inclusive and really sort of recognizing that we're all sort of together, but all on the same mission of providing the best education possible. I don't know if that's a good pitch or not, but I can't. So transitions. Did you do your undergrad here? No.
No, SDSU. So local to Southern California. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, so I can tell you, for me, the most difficult thing has been the dryness. I came from Miami, where it's, and here
humid I end all the time.
I end up here. Oh my God, this thing is so dry. My nose is bleeding all the time.
Oh.
But but it's been a lot of fun. So I think it's a good. It's just a good environment. And I've met, there's some, I don't know, which program are you interested in?
I'm mostly looking at CMDB or biochemistry. So
okay, yeah.
And I'm already getting a warm fuzzy feeling, so that's always a good sign.
So last quarter, no, a quarter. So I actually went. So I'm kind of CMDB, although I'm in the biomedical program. I'm sort of CMDB because I'm really a biologist who ended up working on melanoma. So I'm a cell molecular developmental biologist, exactly CMDB. And it's a great, I thought it was a great program. I went to they have a weekly colloquium where they invite different faculty. So I went twice already. I went there. So I gave a couple of talks to the students. It was the students were all very engaged. There are a lot of, so I had a good feeling too. And I'm telling you, for somebody who came from outside, right? I felt that there was a lot of interest from the students. The students were engaged. I guess it's my not so good pitch because I've only been here a year.
Oh, I guess I'll just have to come up and visit the campus.
Absolutely. For those of you who are close by, you should. I mean, Merced, I'm on dip here. Merced a little far, but
right now I'm in Bakersfield, so it's easier because I'm teaching in Bakersfield right now. So I can come in.
But for those of you, you can send me an email and we can arrange for something. We can arrange for a visit. You're welcome to. And for those of you who are UCR, I don't know if there is anybody UCR there.
Please, Prof, before you drop off, I asked a question about PhD in clinical psychology. I was referring to contacting a faculty member, and it wasn't answered.
So we don't have a PhD in clinical psychology.
Oh, okay.
So there is the psychology. You can go onto the psychology website. There's no clinical psychologist. So unfortunately,
can I ask a question?
Sure.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. My question is, I am a mathematics graduate from Bangladesh, and so I went to the website and saw the program available, and there is I am interested in PhD program in mathematics and also MS program in applied mathematics. So my question is, I see that MS applied mathematics program has no fund. It may be self-funded, right?
Yeah. So for the master's programs, and I think I should have addressed when Amandip asked about the funding. So master's programs, it's not 100%, but master's programs other than MFAs. So the masters in fine arts are funded just like the PhD programs. They get the same fellowship. They get the same teaching assistant. Master's programs that are not MFAs, for the most part, don't get funded. They are self-funded. In some cases, there are programs, maybe in math, I'm not 100% sure, that you might be able to get a teaching assistantship, maybe. The PhD is fully funded with the answer that we gave to Amadip.
Thank you. One more question is, should I reach any professor of the faculty, or should I apply centrally? Is it possible to get fund or reaching professors?
Sure, you can. I would not, if you're going to write to a particular faculty member, I would first approach a faculty member saying, your research is super interesting to me. I have this type of background. And, Emma said that probably you should start your statement of purpose describing your research experience. There might be some of you who have not had research experience or extensive. I would not worry too much about it. I mean, it's always beneficial to have had considerable research experience because you can demonstrate that, I know what I'm getting into, but you might have a you can demonstrate that your academic preparation by the courses you've taken, by some professional experience that you might have, and get into a graduate program. So what I was going to say in response to your question, don't approach a faculty member saying, do you have funding for me? That's not going to go well. You need to approach the person and say, your research says something to me. There's something about, like, Julia, who is the Brazilian one who I was talking to before. She's a clinical person, worked on melanoma, so she can tell me, although she might not have done, and I don't even know, Julia, sorry if I'm putting things in your mouth there, but she might say, you know, I haven't had the experience in the lab, but I've worked in the clinic I'm a dermatologist, or I've done something, and now I want to pivot and do some research, some basic research in melanoma biology. And I would be very interested, even though she has not had. So when you're approaching a professor, make sure, like Emma said, you can use ChatGPT to organize your ideas, but do I see some of you laughing, but make sure that you are coming across genuinely, right? And this is true for your personal statement, and this is true for when you're approaching a professor. Once the professor says, you know what, let's talk a little bit more because there's something, and then you can start discussing funding questions and things like that.
I have a silly question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Go, Curtis.
So basically, I currently have a J1 visa because I'm coming to the US for a research internship. So, but on my J1 visa, it says that there's some 2-year home residency requirement. So, is it possible for me to get an F1 visa after my internship?
Yeah, I think I can't, you know, go to the international. We have a session with international affairs. I would go there and ask this question. I can tell you that you might be able to, you might need to go back, get a waiver from the 2-year requirement, and then reapply for the F1 as a student. But the best thing is to talk to the international affairs people.
Okay.
I can tell you that I came in with a J1 because I was funded by the Brazilian government. So I came in with the J1. This is a long time ago. And I had to get a waiver, and I also had a 2-year requirement. So I had to get a waiver from the Brazilian government. And then I had an American Fogarty Fellowship, which is funded by the American government. Had to go through the process of also getting a waiver from the American government until I could get my green card. Been there.
Is it a lengthy process?
It is a lengthy process.
Oh God.
But Curti, the best thing is for you to talk to international affairs. They will be able to tell you better than I can. And there might be specificities to your own country, who funded your internship. So it's better to get the right information. I think it's not impossible, but but who knows? Yeah.
Okay. And are you still currently working remotely on neuroscience, or is this just completely on melanoma?
No, my research, you don't want to get me talking about my research. The thing is, I haven't even moved my lab here from Miami to UCR. I work on mouse I'm a mouse molecular geneticist. So I work on mouse models of melanoma. Basic science. I'm very interested now in looking at the process of metastasis. I don't even know what you do, and if any of this thing is.
I'm a biotech student. I can understand.
Yeah, so I'm looking at sort of how do you change the phenotype? Sorry, people who are not biologists. Phenotypic characteristics of metastatic cells in melanoma. How do you manipulate it so that you can either put them in dormancy or wake them up and kill them with chemo?
A lot of knock-in, knockout experiments, Lydia?
What?
A lot of knock-in experiments?
Yeah, I do. So that's my background, you know, after the neuroscience stuff, was in doing transgenic mice and knockout mice.
Nice.
And then generation of genetically modified animals.
Oh,
but I have to
awesome.
tell you also that, you know, my lab was the first lab to discover that we have melanocytes, pigment cells in the heart valves. Yay. So now that's the other part of research that I do, looking at why do we have melanocytes in the heart valves. All right, enough of science. Okay.
Yeah. Nick, I'm gonna head off to the next meeting.
One last
Lydia.
question. Oh, sorry.
But
Yeah.
I wanted to say thank you so much to you, and thanks to Emma for answering our questions.
All right. Those of you close by, please do come visit us. Yes, last question. Yes.
This is also off topic. So do you use nanoparticles to, induce gene editing?
Myself in my lab, no. But I know
Okay,
a lot of people who do.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't used any nanoparticles. I think Nick is telling me I'm happy to give a couple closing notes and end the meeting. All right, people, let's finish here. Nick, do you want to say something? Is Nick gone?
No, I'm here.
Oh, no,
I
he's
just want to
still
let you
there.
know, Lydia, I had a couple things to add at the end of the session if you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. And I know a lot of you still have some questions. Please do know that we have going on right now, and as well tomorrow we have a Q&A session for admissions. We also have a lot of other great featured sessions that are coming from the graduate division as a whole, which is a great time to ask questions to us. We also have, like we mentioned before, plenty of academic program sessions that are individual programs that you can apply to, and those are great sessions to be able to ask more specific questions for your program. Oh, and you can't see me. I think we have Lydia pinned. That might be why.
Oh,
I'm not sure. Anyways, but hopefully you can still hear me. I just wanted to add a couple closing notes. Okay, good. I think we mentioned this at the beginning of the session. I know a lot of you weren't here, so a couple things. One is there's going to be a survey on the last day of open house Thursday. We're going to send out a survey to everyone that's attended. Please fill that out. It helps us to help, improve our open house for the next year. And then lastly, just another note on the fee waivers. As long as you are joining a academic program session, you are going to receive that fee waiver to any UCR graduate program that you apply for. It's just going to be one. It's only for one program. It's a $40 waiver. But that's automatic as long as you join an academic program session. And then, as always, if you have any issues whatsoever, I'm going to put our email in the chat. You can always email us with any, if you're having trouble accessing your portal or anything like that, go ahead and email us there. Okay, and thank you everyone so much for attending. Again, we have more sessions. Thank you, Lydia, for
Nick.
staying on and answering some questions. We really appreciate it. Hope everyone has a great one afternoon or morning, whatever.